Justin Bieber is standing with the alleged victims of Sean Diddy Combs, but says he is not a victim himself in a new statement from his spokesperson.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they loved me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
A 2022 interview from Justin Bieber has resurfaced in the wake of Diddy's legal drama. In the sit-down with Zane Lowe 4 years ago, Justin isn't talking about the disgraced media mogul directly, but his past trauma in the music industry, his album changes, and being a newlywed to wife Haley.
And he grabs Kevin Hart and pulls him off camera because Kevin Hart doesn't have a filter. After Diddy's Flavor Cam, Usher comes out with an album called Usher. It has really explicit details about watching Netflix. And of course, the album was executively produced by Puff Daddy. His mom was like, yo, what the So she grabs Usher. You got former bodyguards coming out saying, yeah, Diddy was very inappropriate with Usher. There's a rumor that Usher got sent to the hospital because of an encounter with Diddy. In fact, rumors have been circulating for like 20 years about this situation. Which brings us to Usher and Justin Bieber. See, Justin Bieber was coming up in the same way Usher was, like when he was super young. L.A. Reid again found Justin Bieber. Usher and Justin Timberlake both wanted to sign Bieber, but Bieber chooses Usher and Usher basically becomes a mentor. Now, Usher then sends a young Bieber to Diddy for 48 hours. And in this interview, Diddy's saying stuff like, man, Justin is doing things that any 15-year-old would dream of doing. And the thing that's always kind of annoyed me about Diddy personally is he's always towing this imaginary line.
Him and his boy, they're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when.
For years, Justin Bieber remained quiet. While rumors swirled, headlines broke, and Diddy's empire began to crack, he stayed silent. But now, he's speaking out. And what he's revealing is darker than anyone imagined. This story was never just about Diddy. It's about how the music industry protects its own, how power shields predators, and how young artists get caught in a web they never signed up for. Justin isn't just sharing a quote or two, he's shifting the spotlight. What's being revealed could change everything.
Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose.
When Justin Bieber burst onto the scene at just 13, he was treated like a prodigy, instantly famous, instantly profitable. But behind the scenes, something wasn't adding up. Among the many people who entered his orbit, one name kept resurfacing: Sean Diddy Combs. The strange part? Diddy wasn't Bieber's manager. He wasn't producing his songs. He wasn't even involved in his day-to-day career. Yet somehow he had full access, full control, full exposure to a minor on the rise. Industry insiders started to speculate.
As soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you this gonna be yours. So every time you come it's a little dusty, but
Label connections appeared to provide an excuse, but none of it clarified why Bieber, a young teen, was being drawn into Diddy's world. Private parties, exclusive retreats, late-night hangouts. It wasn't just odd, it was profoundly unsettling. And nobody had a solid explanation for why it was happening. At one point, Diddy publicly bragged about having Bieber for the next 48 hours. No management team, no parents, just him and a 15-year-old kid. "I got custody of him," Diddy said, grinning. "We're going full buck, full crazy." It sounded more like a flex than a joke, and fans noticed. The clip resurfaced years later, and the tone hits differently now.
I just want to protect her, I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody.
It's not just cringy, it feels off. Videos from that time show Bieber looking nervous. Smiling, yes, but with tight lips and averted eyes. Discomfort leaked through the screen. This wasn't mentorship, this was possession. Even back then, some people could feel it, they just didn't know how to explain it. As Bieber grew up, he began to pull away. Publicly, his image was evolving. Behind the scenes, something was changing too. He encountered trouble and made headlines. The media portrayed it all as typical teen rebellion. However, Bieber later confessed that there was much more happening beneath the surface.
I expect to see a lot of strange things take place. I expect to see the defense team do a lot of steps to lighten the image of Combs.
In interviews, he's spoken about the shame, the pressure, and the emotional wounds. He said fame nearly broke him. What he doesn't say is sometimes louder than what he does because he's never fully detailed what happened. But the signs are evident in his behavior, in his eyes, in his silence, and in what he refuses to deny. Then came Yummy. At first glance, it seemed like a catchy pop video. However, fans quickly noticed something odd. The visuals were bizarre. Bright pink food, exaggerated dinner settings, unsettling close-ups, and children in adult environments.
Give up your manhood? I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
It didn't feel like a party. It felt like a message. Theories exploded online. People claim Bieber was trying to expose the truth, that Yummy was a cry for help, a coded signal about what he'd seen behind closed doors. He never confirmed it, but he didn't deny it either, and that silence spoke volumes. In the promotional materials, he used baby imagery, photos of toddlers and quotes about innocence. It didn't fit the pop image. It wasn't for show. It was a warning. The deeper you delve into the music industry, the more you realize it's not merely a business. It's a fortress.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
A select group of influential figures controls everything, the labels, the promotions, the media narratives. If someone wants a career, they must adhere to the rules. And if they don't, they disappear. Over the years, these same executives have faced accusations of protecting predators, keeping scandals buried, and silencing victims with NDAs, hush money, or threats. Some fans believe Bieber was ensnared in that very machine, and he's been quietly attempting to break free by dropping symbolism instead of accusations and using his music rather than his words. In that world, speaking out is perilous.
Justin Bieber, he dropped the song. It went over our heads.
Which
it's actually
video?
about P. Diddy this whole time.
Which video?
The song Lonely. He even came out and said stuff about how when he was younger, he was being taken advantage of, which is true. The problem was being a victim of the diddler. What happens? Because he has so much dirt on you, if you go out into the public, he may have videos, he may have embarrassing.
Fast forward to today. Diddy is finally facing legal consequences, and with his trial comes new revelations. Prosecutors recently presented a list to jurors featuring over 100 names: celebrities, athletes, and politicians. Michael B. Jordan, Kanye West, and Mike Myers are among them. None are facing charges, but all were listed as potential references in court. Why? What do prosecutors know that we don't? Why does a case against one man involve so many high-profile names? Some believe it's not just about who was involved, it's about who was present, who knew, and who stayed silent. That silence is beginning to crack.
In the video, a then 39-year-old Combs says he and the baby singer, who was 15 at the time, will be spending 48 hours together, doing things they can't really disclose.
The trial has also brought forward new witnesses, real people, real stories. Dawn Richard, a former artist under Diddy's label, took the stand. Her testimony was chilling. She described being groped, touched without consent, and being walked in on while changing. She detailed the fear, the silence, the manipulation. And she wasn't the only one. More women have come forward, and many believe there are even more who are still too afraid to speak. Then there's Cassie. Her story made headlines when she described years of abuse, mental, emotional, and physical.
Now, where a key witness just testified in the trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. R&B singer and his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura took the stand today. Now, we have to warn you, the details in this case are very difficult to hear.
Diddy allegedly threw a skillet at her, isolated her, and controlled her. What they describe isn't random, it's a pattern, a culture of exploitation. And it didn't happen in a vacuum. People saw, people knew. Justin issued a statement via his team, making it clear that he supports the victims, believes them, and wants justice served. However, he didn't share his personal story. Some say it's fear, others argue it's a strategy. Either way, the silence is palpable. Fans have noticed and observed the signs for years, the unease, the distance. They're not asking for gossip, they're asking for the truth because they know Justin saw something. Now, as more victims speak out, his voice could make all the difference. The music industry has always been about control. Controlling sound, controlling images, and sometimes controlling people. Young stars are treated like property. They're signed, molded, and sold. If they fight back, they're punished. For years, this system functioned effectively, but now it's beginning to falter. Social media has provided victims with a platform. Whistleblowers enjoy protection like never before. And fans, they're no longer remaining silent. They demand transparency, they call out the abuse, they connect the dots, and they rally around those who finally dare to speak. What started as one trial is now evolving into something larger. It's not just about Diddy, it's about the names behind the curtain. The deals were made in secrecy and careers were traded for silence. Every week, more receipts surface, and every day, more stories come to light. Soon, the industry won't be able to control the narrative. Justin Bieber's journey reflects this shift. He was once silent, but is now speaking out. Once protected, he is now exposed. He's not just a pop star. He's a symbol, a survivor, a warning.
The clip, which many commenters labeled as disturbing, sparked rumors that the now 31-year-old Bieber might have been victimized by the disgraced producer.
If he chooses to fully open up, the ripple effect could dismantle the very system that tried to own him. Hollywood sells dreams. But behind the red carpets and bright lights, shadows stretch far and wide. Bieber was a child when it all began. So was Cassie. So were many others. They were promised stardom, but were given manipulation, silence, and scars. Now that silence is cracking. From cryptic music videos to quiet statements to full-blown testimonies, the truth is spilling out. The industry is watching, the public is listening, and justice might finally be catching up. If Bieber chooses to share everything he knows, it won't just be a scandal. It will be a reckoning. Don't look away. If you believe the truth needs to be heard, share this video. Comment on your thoughts. Subscribe for more updates as this trial unfolds, because what comes next will shake the industry to its core.